Let's talk about Eric. We're gonna talk about Eric right quick. If I can get my thing to connect. Yeah, Eric, as y'all know. And that's his picture. Eric Marlon Bishop, aka Jamie Foxx. Okay. So y'all know back in April, Mr. Eric, aka Jamie Foxx, had a undisclosed medical condition that happened. So nobody excuse me, nobody really knew about it until his daughter wrote something. Yeah, he had a medical condition and he's being treated for it, whatever she wrote. So um we were all trying to find out, what's going on with Jamie Foxx. Some people said he had a stroke, some people had said he had an aneurysm, right? So we know, that aneurysm happens. People usually don't survive that. And if you have a stroke, there's the possibility that you can go to rehab for however many months or years or whatever and gain some of your mobility back. So has it been 90 days? I think that happened in April. So we say May, June, July. It's been about 90 days. So you know what happens in 90 days? Drug rehab. And this is just my opinion, and all of this is alleged. So some of my people in the industry who I keep in contact with say, hey, there was some things that Jamie Foxx was doing that caused his condition that they thought was a stroke. Maybe he got a hold of some of that fentanyl. I don't know. But hey, his friends and family are keeping a tight lid on what happened. But I do know if you go into a rehab, I think the minimum they give you is 90 days. It's been about 9 days, so now he's out. So supposedly and reportedly, alleged, he allegedly had a stroke, right? So the next thing you see him out and about hitting golf balls and on a boat with a phone in one hand and waving with the other hand. And so I'm like, well, it don't look like he had a stroke to me. Unless he has some miracle training, I don't know. He's the bionic man. I don't know. All I know is if you had a stroke and then you been down and pick up somebody's pocketbook and hand it back to him, I'm looking at you with the side eye. I got one eye open and one eye closed and trying to figure out what's going on. So, Mr. Jamie Foxx, I'm glad you're back in the public eye. I haven't checked Instagram to see if he was back on Instagram, but I do know that message he put on Instagram. I don't believe he put that on. That was like when he was first reported being ill and being in the hospital, and somebody wrote something, and we were getting the gloom and doom reports from his friends saying pray for Jamie Foxx, pray for his family. And then we found out he was in that rehab hospital for physical therapy or whatever. And now he's out swinging golf balls and picking up pocketbooks off the street and handing them back to people like a hero. So what's really going on, Mr. Eric Bishop? What's happening? Okay. All right. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is the streets are really talking about. Now, let me put out my disclaimer. I don't know why, but I love watching reality TV. Love hip hop, Real Housewives of Atlanta. I haven't really watched them that much because they've just gotten ridiculous and redundant with the arguments and stuff. It's time to either get some new ladies or just get rid of the show altogether. And then I heard they brought back Kim Zolciak for what? Okay. Anyway, I guess she needs some money too. But anyway, the streets have been buzzing, and I have been told from my industry contacts that it went down at a club for filming of the Real Housewives of Potomac. So if you're not familiar with them, you could get familiar with some of their old episodes on YouTube. It's just the Real Housewives. All of them are just about the same with a bunch of women arguing and fighting and pulling hair. But they say it really went down where people were body slammed and punched and all of that stuff. And it wasn't even between regular cast members. It was between two different friends. So you got two members on the show and their friend. got into it. One friend got into it with another friend. That's how that worked. So they were the pulling hair and fighting and punching and going on. I saw part of the video, and then when I saw who it was between, I was like, "Well, I wonder what happened with it." Somebody said something about somebody's husband again, or telling that one thing. I think they call her the animal or Cookie Monster or a Sesame Street character, that funny looking one with those eyebrows, telling lies, talking about somebody husband her, turned out to be a whole lie. So it was her and then a friend of one of the cast members that got into a fight. So the information that was leaked, I'm told by my industry insiders that the person who leaked the information about the fight is the person who was in the fight and glorified herself to make herself look good. I don't know how true that is. And it takes forever for the Real Housewives of Potomac to come on. So we're probably not gonna see this episode until next year. Um, and that's just what it is. They're filming now and it takes them a long time. Usually, Real Housewives of Atlanta is filming during the summertime and they come out in the wintertime, but they're maybe they're doing both at the same time. I don't know. They've switched up the schedule. And that's what that is. I don't know why I like watching. Maybe I live vicariously through these reality TV shows supposed to be reality housewives, but ain't nobody got no husband. And they all trying to fake like they so rich. And every time they see each other, it's like, hi, you look so pretty. Oh, and hugging and kissing and going on every episode. I also watch Love and Marriage Huntsville. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, I'm not I would go so deep on Love and Marriage Huntsville talking about them, but, it's interesting. It keeps me watching, and people say, "Well, you complain about it, but you still watch." I sure do. I'm just that nosy. I am so nosy. That's why I chose journalism as a major in college. I'm nosy. I wanna know so I can share it with everybody else. Alright, so now we're gonna go into, the young lady that was missing. They call her Carly Russell. Her real name is Carlithia, which some people might think that's a ghetto name, but if you have knowledge, I think it means a beautiful flower, type of flower. So Carlithia ended up missing, I think Friday evening. They said she saw a toddler on the side of the highway while she was driving. She stopped and called 911 to report that the toddler was by themselves on the side of the highway. And then she called a family member to let them know that she was waiting. That what happened. She had pulled over. She called the police, waiting for the police to arrive. And then family members said they heard some screaming in the background. And then all they heard was background noise. They didn't know what happened. So since Friday, and this happened in Alabama. So since Friday, news spread about it. And then the family was rightfully saying that when it comes to black people, especially black women, we're not um when we're missing, we're just missing. Our information isn't shared nationwide like it is for other people or like it is for dogs. Okay, I'm just keeping it real. All right. So Miss Carly vanished. And she was gone Friday night, Saturday night. And then early, I think they say early Sunday morning, she showed up at her parents' home, banging on the door to be let in. So let me back up. Carly's sister did a press conference in Alabama, just letting people know if they see her to call the police. She said when they found Carly's car on the highway, the police found her abandoned car and her cell phone. They also found her wig. Um, And so she was saying, well, if you see her, just imagine my face and a person with cornrows because her real hair is braided down and her wig was with the car. So I'm trying to y'all got to help me with this. So unless she was real hot, or I don't know how the wig ended up being left and she left without her. Y'all gotta help. Give me some answers, please, in the comment section. Let me know what's really going on with this. So I did read up on it just before I came on air to see if there were any new developments. The police said they are investigating. I did see some comments floating around on Facebook saying that they hope